This week, Disney announced their desire to expand both Disneyland and California Adventure and also add more shopping, dining, and hotel rooms to the Disneyland Resort. We're going to talk about what all of that means in today's video. Hey there, for those of you new to the channel, my name is Eric D, and this announcement this week was big news, and it was kind of out of the blue because Disney announced what would basically be the biggest expansion for the Disneyland Resort in the past 2 decades. And so at this point, it is still in the very early phases, and their whole goal at this point is just to get the city of Anaheim and Disneyland on the same page. So keep that in mind as we discuss what this whole plan is and what they're proposing. This plan is called Disneyland Forward. They introduced it all with a quote from Ken Potrock, Disneyland Resort president. "Thinking big and leading the way is both our legacy and our best path forward. Now is the time to be bold, to dream, to believe, and to lead. The world-renowned Disneyland Resort is poised to bring back jobs to our community, as well as new entertainment and experiences to loyal fans and new audiences for generations to come." Then they walk you through the history of how Anaheim started out as a rural farm community, grew into a tourist destination, and in the mid-90s, the city and Disney worked to make dramatic improvements to help bring a second park, Downtown Disney, and the Grand Californian Hotel. And they end kind of this section of their introduction by saying, "To this day, Disney continues to invest in the Anaheim Resort with exciting additions like Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and the soon-to-open Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure Park. Unfortunately, the addition of more attractions and experiences in the future may be limited under current inflexible planning restrictions unless we remove and replace treasured rides and attractions in our parks today." So really pulling on the heartstrings there, you can see how Disney is setting this up. We want to grow, we want to continue to add more, but our only option currently is to redo attractions, and you guys already love those attractions, and we'd hate to remove more of those. So then they say what their main goal is. "To be clear, Disney is not seeking any public funding for Disneyland Forward, nor are we seeking additional square footage or hotel rooms beyond what is currently approved and allowed. Rather, we are simply working with the city and community to update our existing approvals to allow for integrated development to be located and built throughout the Disney properties." So if you look at these maps that Disney provided, they give an overview of what zoning areas used to be and what they currently are. The whole section around the Disneyland Hotel and the Paradise Pier Hotel is zoned as a hotel district, but as you can see, the majority of it is being used for parking. When you think about it, the theme parks are already jam-packed with people most of the year, so if Disney were to use all that space for hotel rooms, it wouldn't really help the crowding problem with the theme parks. It would just likely bring more bodies and increase the problem. So Disney says, while Disney has the development rights and the desire to continue to invest in Anaheim, the space to develop integrated offerings is severely limited. Without broadening the use allowed within each district or demolishing and replacing many beloved theme park attractions, further integrated development and theme park investments are not possible. So this all leads up to Disney saying, imagine the possibilities. "We want to bring more Disney investments to Anaheim. However, this simply isn't possible under the current inflexible planning restrictions unless we remove and replace treasured rides and attractions in our parks today. Without updates, new Disney experiences and placemaking created from our beloved stories will likely never find their way to the Disneyland Resort as they have to other parks throughout the world. With Disneyland Forward and more flexibility within our existing properties, new lands and adventures like those underway at Tokyo Disney Sea and Shanghai Disneyland could inspire new experiences here." So after setting all of this up and tugging on your heartstrings about, oh, we're going to have to lose these beloved attractions if we want to add new things, we'd have to take away these attractions that you already love, and also bringing up the very valid points about the zoning regulations make it difficult for us to integrate things like we have done in other areas, and also by making it clear they are not asking for public funding. They lay out their high-level vision. Disney gives just examples of what types of attractions could come to the parks if they were given more flexibility. They say with Disneyland Forward and an updated approach, these exciting new lands and attractions coming to Tokyo Disney Sea could be the perfect inspiration for the future of Disneyland Park. And they show many of the new additions coming to Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney Sea, including the Frozen Land, the Peter Pan area, and the Tangled area. Once again, Disney isn't saying that any of these are guaranteed or that they are coming, but they are saying that these are the types of ideas they're pulling from classic Disney stories and movies that they'd be adding to Disneyland. Then they say, with updated approvals, Disney California Adventure Park could be home to some of Disney's most technologically advanced, immersive, and cutting-edge entertainment, taking cues from these exciting lands and attractions around the globe for inspiration. For this, they use examples of Zootopia Land in Shanghai, the Tron Light Cycle Run, also in Shanghai, and also coming to Magic Kingdom, and they also show Toy Story Land. Once again, this isn't saying that any of these will officially come or are planned out for California Adventure, but they are saying that you'll likely see more Pixar and adventurous rides. And just to show that we likely won't be getting these exact same attractions and lands that they're proposing, for example, Toy Story Land, we already have Toy Story Midway Mania, and we also have an attraction very similar to Alien Swirling Saucers with Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. So I can't see them bringing all of Toy Story Land to California Adventure, but I can imagine them bringing other Pixar options, like a Coco attraction that would fit well with some of the cultural experiences that they do inside of California Adventure. Then they share this map, giving an idea of what they are talking about, but they clearly call out, all renderings and maps are for illustrative purposes only. So basically they're saying don't count on the finished product looking anything like this. But you can get an idea of how they would likely sync Disneyland Drive, just like they previously did, to create the connection for downtown Disney, but in this case they would connect this newly developed area to Disneyland, and also create a connection to California Adventure. The section above the Disneyland Hotel would be for Disneyland's growth, and the section around the Paradise Pier Hotel would be for California Adventure. And it looks like they would have some additional entrances for the parks from that side of things. Once again, we should not read too much into these maps because Walt Disney may have some ideas and directions they want to go. I don't think they want to reveal their cards just yet. But one fun thing a lot of people have been calling out, and I also noticed when I was looking at this, is they did put a Black Panther landmark in the California Adventure area of the park. So that doesn't mean Wakanda is definitely coming to California Adventure, but it's definitely something fun to notice that they kind of included in there. So whether that's just an Easter egg or something that someone wanted to include there for fun, I do like that they put that in there. As you look at these maps, you might be saying, but it looks like there's actual attraction tracks and paths on some of these. My guess is the Imagineers who are working on this took the actual sizes of existing attractions and kind of overlaid them on the map to say, okay, in this area we could have 3 C-ticket attractions, so like Dumbo, Teacups. We could also fit in 4 D-ticket attractions and a total of 5 E-ticket attractions. So this is the size of a Flight of Passage building. This is the size of a Frozen attraction building. Not to say that any of those attractions are coming, but just to get an idea for the size of attractions they could fit in this land. If you're trying to visualize it, here is a Google Earth view with the artist renderings on top. You can see the connections to the existing parks and even an additional connection from the Grand Californian to the new area of the parks, or maybe even the Paradise Pier Hotel. Also interesting, Disney shows us what they want to do with the Toy Story parking lot, what many of us thought would eventually be a 3rd theme park. That isn't their direction they want to go at all. They said, this property could be the perfect location to cater to locals, conventioneers, hotel and Disneyland resort guests, with restaurants, hotels, live music, shopping, ticketed shows, and theme park experiences modeled after the popular Disney Springs at Walt Disney World Resort. So on the map here you can see where the shopping and dining would be, where the hotels would be, and what I'm interested in is this theme park experience. In the description they describe ticketed shows, so maybe this could be something like a Cirque du Soleil show, or maybe a Broadway style show, or maybe some other theme park style experience that we haven't thought of yet. And it looks like there would be at least 2 hotels over here, or maybe it would be some Disney Vacation Club properties. One of the things I find crazy about all of this is the Paradise Pier Hotel and the Disneyland Hotel Towers all survive this. And not only do they survive this, but all of a sudden they become prime real estate to become basically in-park hotels. And those rooms that currently are facing the parking lots and that aren't the greatest rooms for Paradise Pier and also for the Disneyland Hotel where you're just facing a parking lot, all of a sudden they become prime real estate rooms where I'm sure the prices are going to go way up for those rooms because you are now facing into the parks, which would be pretty awesome. Of course, if all of this gets approved. Disney goes on to break down all the jobs they would expect this expansion to bring to Anaheim, and once again they make a big deal of not asking for any public funding or tax dollars. They just want help rezoning their existing property. Now Disney may be working behind the scenes on official plans, but right now the focus is just getting the city to agree with the zoning rules, and then the plan is to bring a full development plan for approval by the city council by 2023. So if this does get approved, it's still going to be years away before the attractions open, and also a couple of years away before we even know what the attractions will officially be. So it's very likely that we'll still see additional attractions opening within the parks before then, like maybe that Avengers e-ticket will still open in California Adventure, and maybe we'll still see work in Tomorrowland before any of this happens. We know that in 2023, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will open, and this year, Avengers Campus will open, but there's still going to be several years before any of these new additions could open, so I think they'll have to continue to build things within the parks for the time being. So I know that was a ton of news, a lot of very exciting news and unexpected news, but in the comments below, I would love to hear what are your thoughts on Disneyland Forward. Would you like to see this? I think this is a huge improvement over what was previously proposed with having that hotel that was going to be out in front of the Disneyland Hotel and kind of part of downtown Disney. Compared to that and the parking garage that was previously proposed, this is a huge improvement, a lot more attractions. I think this is much more exciting, so I'm very excited about this. I personally don't want to just see copies of all of the attractions from around the world, but I would love to see some new ideas too. There are definitely some things I would love to see brought over, but I would love to see some new ideas too. So in the comments below, I would love to hear what kind of attractions you would love to see for both the Disneyland side and for the California Adventure side. But thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel, because my hope is always to make your next Disney adventure a little bit more magical with tips and tricks, food reviews, and news. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.